has 2 individual contracts with each one, okay? So although they have the same name, they're 2 different companies, okay? So the PCM agency are all the people we talked about in relation to the evaluation. The skills trainer, the occupational therapist, intake. Anytime this consumer may or may not need additional time, say they were evaluated for 20 hours, but I don't know, a year later, they now need 25 hours of help. The PCM agency is the one that contacts the doctor, makes the, the adjustment on the evaluation, and sends it to the middle person, which is Mass Health. Mass Health does exactly that. They're in the middle because they're the middle guys. They make decisions and they also provide the funds. So they have a contract with the PCM agency and they have a contract with the FI. Okay. So once they determine, yep, we're gonna pay services for John Smith, they decide we're gonna pay these people, you guys are gonna manage, you guys are gonna make sure their PCAs do what they're supposed to do in terms of timesheets and pay them. So the FI receives their contract and starts receiving timesheets from you guys, new hire paperwork, and they process anything related with the money aspect of the business. Any questions?
Just one thing, in the very
Yeah.
first column, can I refer to it as staff room?
Yeah, so
Okay.
there's, at least with Stavros, the PCM agency is any advocates, nurses,
Right.
anything like that. That's who we call
considered
Stavros.
okay.
But then there's Stavros, the fiscal intermediary. They're the ones that do your timesheets.
Yeah.
So it depends on what help you need, that would determine which Stavros you would call. But yeah, if you wanna call it Stavros, that would be okay. Questions so far? Okay. According to Massachusetts law, there's a few different people that cannot assume the role of a PCA for a consumer, okay? If the person is legally married, their spouse cannot be their PCA ever, okay? The parent of a minor child, including an adoptive parent, cannot be the person's PCA. Anybody who has legal guardianship or becomes a foster parent of a child or an adult cannot be their PCA, okay? The surrogate can't be PCA, or anybody that's legally bound in any way with the consumer cannot be their PCA, okay?
Do you know why?
Well, for a child, the parent's responsible for that child, so they can't be paid to take care of their child. For a spouse, you're married in sickness and in health and, whatever, all those vows people say. That, it means exactly that. You cannot be paid to take care of your spouse. A surrogate is responsible, it's almost like a conflict of interest. You can't be the surrogate because then if you're the surrogate and the PCA, then you can write time, say you can put in on your timesheet that you worked 25 hours and you never even showed up there. And we're gonna call you to verify whether you went to work or not, and you're gonna say, yeah, I did. So then it's not working in the best interest of the consumer. And then guardian or foster parent, foster programs in the state of Massachusetts, they pay you to care for this person. So you're taking on the responsibility and you're getting like a stipend every month, or I don't know how often they do it. So you're already being paid for that, so you can't also be their PCA, because now you're double billing, you're double dipping into the system, okay? So there's reasons. Also, when you become someone's legal guardian, you take on full-blown responsibility for this person as if they were your child. So even if they're an adult, you're still taking on all responsibilities for them, so you're responsible for them. You good? Okay. So, let's move on. Let's talk about, yes?
What if you don't live in the same household as them, let's say they're your parents but you don't live
Okay.
example, you still can do it, right?
If you work for your parents,
Yeah.
yes, you can work for your parents. Your parents can't work for you. So, until you're 18. Once a child is 18, they're considered an adult, and therefore the parent could be their PCA. But under the age of 18, if you're a minor, your parents cannot be your PCAs. But you could be their PCAs.
Even if you live in the same house.
Even if you lived in the same house. Yeah. What would change when there's people living in the house is the IADL section of an evaluation. Because if you're married, your spouse should be able to do your laundry, your spouse should be able to do your shopping, and maybe some housekeeping. Obviously that they play into factor the fact that the spouse maybe works, or they're never home, or I don't know, whatever. But if you live with your Your child is not responsible for these things because you're an adult and so are they, and technically they don't have to take care of you. But a spouse, if you're legally married, they have to take care of you. So then these things can shift. For a child, it's the same thing. They're not gonna give a child time for housekeeping because mom and dad or mom or dad are there and that's their responsibility. But they can get time for these things over here. When a person, the way a person qualifies for the program is that they need to have, need assistance with at least 2 things from the ADL's column, okay? The person has to have a need for 2 activities of daily living. Then everything else is thrown in. But if they don't make that minimum criteria, they don't qualify for the program, okay? All right, let's talk about money. Page 7. All right. So the salaries are determined through collective bargaining agreements. During that, PCAs are represented by the